did you see that? It was huge. It was like a big thing that had all the things coming out of it, and we managed to dodge it. But then it came at us again, and it just kept coming, just all over. This is Hack the Dino Gaming Cast, where we bring you the past, present, and future of video games news, previews, and discussions. I am the smiley man, Ben Rosenthal, and I'm joined here, as almost always, by one of my co-hosts, Floppy.
The amazing enabler.
Yes, and his enabled Anto.
I was going to say the agoraphobic Anto, but whatever.
What does that mean? What's
Don't like to go out.
Fearful of people and places.
What's that? You just hate people? What's that?
I think that's just being an asshole.
Yeah, that's me. That's definitely me. Anyway, we've got a thing to discuss tonight. We're very closely getting towards the end of 2022.
Yeah, and it is the year it is the year of the game.
It is officially the year of the game.
Yeah.
Not video games, but the game starring Michael Douglas, in which he pays a gross amount of money in order to
pay
be...
it. Someone bought it for him.
Oh, it was a gift, was it?
It was a
Oh,
gift.
no, I
His
saw it when I
brother.
was a kid. Anyway, he goes into a huge thing where he doesn't know if it's he thinks it's a game, but then it's not a game, and he's convinced that it's not a game, then people die. And
Game night.
is like Batman when he was a kid.
Night with a K.
Yeah. And used to play video game. Didn't do a lot of...
Oh, no. You know what it is?
What?
It's Game of the Year, man.
Game of the... What is the game of the year, Floppy?
Yeah, well, it could be a number of games that will be revealed in a short amount of time.
It will.
Possibly a long amount of time.
Do you know what else will be revealed?
What?
My pick for a... Game of the Year, which I voted for over at hackthedino.com. That's right, if you want to see my pick
I was wrong, it was going to be a short show.
for my Game of the Year, head on over to hackthedino.com. Right up the top there is a little banner that says 2022 vote now Game of the Year. You can vote in the Hack the Dino Goatsy Awards, that's Game of the Sexy Year, and have your say as to who is the big winner at the Hack the Dino desk. We like to make our decisions, but we'd like you, the wonderful listeners and viewers of Hack the Dino, to make the decision as well. So head on over to hackthedino.com. The survey takes about a minute and a half. You can click all the buttons. You vote for things like most graphics. Floppy, what do you think had most graphics this year?
Definitely one of the big ones.
Yes, absolutely. Anto, who do you? I'm going to bring up some of the questions. Who do you think tried really, really hard but just fell up short? Fell up short?
I feel like there's only one answer.
What would the one answer be? I can't think of it.
Floppy?
I can't remember.
Okay. What would you say the best remake of the year is?
Oh, definitely Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
Well, okay.
As he says from the future.
No.
Metroid Dread. No, that's not a remake. Damn it.
Now, who do you think the best Hack the Dino would be this year?
Oh,
Anto,
Definitely Hack.
Ben, Braden, Floppy, or the live Twitch chat?
Hack.
Hack?
The Dino.
Yeah, I think you agree there. Hack is probably
sorry,
the best
guys.
Dino.
It's this guy.
Well, we'll see what the people say over at hackthedino.com. That's right. 1 minute. That's all we need. Just 1 minute of your time.
Maybe 1.5.
Yeah, it depends if you know,
I'm feeling generous.
Look, if you want to take half an hour doing it, that's fine too.
kiss first. Sort of get those lubes flowing.
Oh, you had to say, you have to always go too far, don't you?
That's what I do. Like, anyone listening to this knows what I do. Big hairy balls.
Professional.
So I just want to take this time to say, be sure to head on over to hackthedino.com and vote in the 2022 Goatsy Awards. That's right, the game of the sexy year, the Goatsy. Don't look that up on the internet, though. Don't look up Goatsy.
Don't look up goat or sexy or any combination of those two words.
Hackthedino.com. Click on the top link. Takes a minute and a half to literally click on your choice. You can choose most graphics, game of the year. We've got an official sponsor by Game Boy Games. And we're going to choose the Game Boy Games Game of the Year. He's had a very productive year, the old Michael Towns.
Floppy game, just saying.
Well, that was released this year. Does have an option.
Game of the
Anyway,
year.
hackthedino.com. Also, be sure to subscribe on all podcast laps and apps. Go on, sit on your favourite podcast lap. Get them to ask what you want for Christmas and say, all I want for Christmas is a 5-star review for my good friends over at Hack the Dino. The old gaming cast and the old podcast lap will say, well, if you head on over to Spotify and press the 5-star button, or on Apple iTunes pod thing, whatever it's called now, do that and just dictate this speech in the comments because I'm...
Rambling?
Yeah, cool. Anyway, at the start of the year, we had our predictions for 2022.
Yeah, we did.
And seeing as how next episode is going to be us wrapping up the entire year of 2022, I thought now would be a really good time to go through our predictions and some of our Patreon's predictions.
How wrong we were.
Or how right we are. So Braden was here with us for the predictions.
Was it his last show?
Yes, it was their last show, and they will be joining us for the end of this last show as well. So
nice.
Next episode, we will have Braden sitting here as well, giving it a good old Dino send-off to 2022, the year that gave us so much...
Stuff.
Anyway, so we'll kick it off with you, Floppy. What was your first choice of 2022?
My first prediction was that Mario Kart 9 will be released.
Mm-hmm. And how'd you go?
Well, I haven't played it yet
No.
because it hasn't been released.
No, but we did get DLC.
We did. We got DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
So usually when I grade these things,
So essentially it gets me half a point.
No.
Oh, really?
No, you don't, because this is quite clearly Mario Kart 8.
Damn it.
There's no 9 there. I was just going to say, you either get a point or you get a half point, as chosen by me.
Or you get none.
Or you get none. And in this case, you got a 0.
I did.
Have you played any of the courses yet, Anto?
I have. I was basically just paying for the expanded Switch Online membership to get Waluigi Pinball because that's my favorite Mario Kart course ever. It's the best one, and it came out in the most recent wave, I think it was. It's just
Haven't got
great.
any of
It's
these.
fun.
No, they're free for the Switch Online expanded pass.
Oh, I don't have the expanded pass.
Well, I can sort you out with that.
Ooh, hell of a guy.
I mean, yeah, I've got a family account. I can just add you to mine.
Yeah.
Ooh, hell of a guy.
Anto, what was your first pick? Your first prediction.
My first prediction was that we would get an announcement for Part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake project before mid-year. Mm-hmm. And we got it basically smack bang in the middle of the year, so I'm counting it.
Yep, 18th of June was the official announcement of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2.
Rebirth.
And for that, Anto gets a full-ass point. So Anto's on the board with 1 point.
Nice.
Braden then made a prediction. Sorry?
Just look how good it looks.
Braden made a prediction. Just stirring that pot. One or more of the WB games releasing this year, in quotation marks, will be delayed until 2023. They were, of course, Suicide Squad, Gotham Knights, Hogwarts, or Lord of the Rings Gollum.
So not only did they guess one or more,
Yep.
all bar one.
Gotham Knights was the only one that released. So Braden got a full point there. Okay.
Hogwarts is not far away, actually. I'm super keen for that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My first prediction was the PlayStation version of Game Pass, then rumoured to be called Spartacus,
stupid name.
with some games for PS1, PS2, and PS3 will be coming out. And guess what? It did, mother lover.
Jesus. Correct, it did. What? Are you on this?
No, I've just got the basic plus so I can play internet games.
I've got top tier.
Yeah? And how do you rate it? There's been some dissension about whether it's worth the money or not.
Well, that depends on what you want to get out of it, I guess.
Yeah?
I've played a heap of PS2 games with my kids.
Yep.
And some PS1 stuff that I have not played in 2 decades and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Anto, what tier are you on?
I also have Premium.
Yep.
So I get access to all of the stuff. It is important to note, however, that Australia does not get the full experience because we do not have the internet infrastructure to support PS3 streaming like the rest of the world gets.
We get some PSP stuff to try and make up for
stuff. Ultimately, I think cost versus worthwhileness. It honestly depends how many games you play and how much free time you have.
The way I look at it, it's the price of one and a little bit full price games.
Yeah.
For a year, and just the PS4 and PS5 tier are awesome.
How quickly do the games get removed?
I haven't noticed anything that I've downloaded that has been removed
Me
just
neither.
yet.
I'm sure it has, but I haven't noticed anything.
What type of games have you been playing on there? Floppy?
I use it to try out a lot of games because they also have like a try before you buy thing going on.
Like demos?
Like kind of like a demo, but you can actually play the full game for X amount of hours.
Oh, okay, so time-based
Yeah.
demo.
So I've used it to play or try a lot of things that I normally probably wouldn't have a crack at, but things like, or I would look at it like, yeah, I don't have the money for that. I've tried Roller Drome. I've done all that sort of stuff. I pulled down some stuff to play with my kids. It's like the amount of games that are on just the PS4 and PS5 thing. If you don't have the money to buy them physically or don't want to for whatever reasons, there is a humongous, great library there that you can have essentially a digital collection.
Yeah.
For as long as they're on there. It's Netflix.
Yeah.
It's Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can pick it up any day of the week and get a number of excellent choices for any genre of game that you want to play.
So at the end of that round one, it was Floppy on 0, Anto, Braden and I all on 1 apiece. Now, round 2. Floppy, what was your second prediction for 2022?
Second prediction would have been the best thing if it ever happened. But I predicted that Bobby Kotick steps down to pursue a new avenue in life. Didn't do that.
Do you know what would be the best avenue for him to explore in life?
Death.
The end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, no. I would never wish death upon anyone.
No,
That's not true.
But
I would
he can still live but be a vegetable.
I wish that he is removed from his current position and has to face the consequences for all the stuff that he has been party to.
Yes. And
terrible person.
We will not talk about it again until Microsoft has purchased Blizzard and
I thought
booted.
they had.
No, it's still up
Is
in
it
the
still
courts.
in the air?
Yeah. Well, it is a fairly
Sony are
monopolistic.
still fighting them over Call of Duty about it.
No, they've signed a deal with Sony saying that it will be out for a long time on all platforms.
Oh, okay, cool.
That came out just the other day.
Amazing.
So it's getting closer, but there is still the whole, is
Come
it a
on.
monopoly?
If Elon
it
Musk
can't
can
be?
buy Twitter and fire a bunch of people, why can't Microsoft
Two
buy that and
completely different things.
just buy a thing and
Completely
fire
different.
a dude? Fire
Complete, no, way wrong. You were on the other side of the planet with this one.
Buy a company, fire some people.
Okay.
Isn't that the same thing?
Not at all. Anto, what was your second pick for round 2?
My prediction was that Nintendo would continue to successfully ignore, avoid, and not talk about the Zelda anniversary, the 35th anniversary of the series, which might not be one of their biggest money makers anymore, but it's
Zelda.
still one of the cornerstones of their entire business.
I dare say it would be one of their biggest money makers, surely.
You would
I
think
mean,
so.
Pokemon and Splatoon are outselling Zelda.
Pokemon isn't their primary.
Not they don't own
it's
it.
not theirs. They only own a part of it.
True. But-
I saw someone was arguing in a thread I was reading, and their argument was Nintendo should take Pokemon away from Game Freak. And I was like,
Yeah, it's not that
Game
simple.
Freak can take Pokemon away from
own a
Nintendo,
third of it.
correct.
not the other way around. Imbecile.
Yeah, so they would.
Continue to ignore Zelda.
Yep.
The anniversary event specifically, and that they would probably shadow drop or announce late in the year that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess would be ported to Switch, which hasn't happened yet.
And I don't think it will, considering there's only 3 weeks left of this year.
Yeah, that's scary. I thought it was still November.
So you got half of that right. So I gave you half a point there. So you're on 1.5. Floppy's still on 0. But I did read that Nintendo don't like re-releasing remakes on two concurrent
Consecutive.
systems. Consecutive, yeah.
After they just released.
Yeah, so Wind Waker and Twilight Princess came out on
Wii
was obviously the remakes
U?
were done on the Wii U,
Yeah.
and then they're not going to port it over to Switch. Just
Breath
again,
of the
I
Wild
can't,
came out on
I
Wii U
can't
and Switch.
Just
say
going to
that.
throw out Bayonetta. No, wait, Bayonetta was Wii U. Yeah, no, Bayonetta 2.
But Bayonetta
Bong
was
Tropical
multi-platform.
Freeze.
But are they remakes or ports?
Ports.
Yeah, so
So they're talking about remakes.
No, we're not talking remakes, we're talking ports.
Yeah, Zelda, would they just port it over?
They should have just done it.
You know what they should do? Bloody Oracle of Sages and Oracle of
Seasons and Ages.
yes, those ones.
And Minish Cap.
Yeah, and Minish Cap. Although I've owned that one, so I can just play it whenever I want.
Oh, so this is based on what you want to play that's not available, that you don't have on your shelf?
Correct.
Okay.
But I will have that other one available.
Nah, give us the CDI games.
Oh, oof. Braden's pick.
Jeez, I think the table just raised a little bit.
I will own them one day. Those 3 travesties. Braden said The Last of Us TV show will be fine. Shrug. And we don't know because it's not coming out till next year. So that's a big old 0 for Braden. So Anto 1.5, 0 and 1 for Braden. Yeah. And my final pick for round 2 was no new Switch console will be announced this year. Ding. But will be in 2023. Would have been 2022, but the conductor shortages make it hard.
So is that the reason why we don't have a Switch cartridge here? Has that been announced?
For the sake of me having a point, yeah.
So should you then have half a point?
I probably
Because you made it too specific?
I probably should.
The one thing I learned, sorry, and by learn, I mean still do now, is make things too specific and Ben get you.
I will alter my...
I just read that. Like, I wouldn't have read it, but I was reading ahead of when you were reading.
Yeah.
I was like,
No.
hang on a minute.
As I was reading it, I was going, oh,
Whoopsies.
crap. I'm going to lose half a point here. I wonder if they'll bring it up.
I fully expect if it's going to happen, they will bring out a new Switch or like a sequel system with backwards compatibility when Tears of a Kingdom comes out.
I'm not sure they will.
I'm not sure they will, but if they're going to do it, that would be the best time to do it.
I think they'll just do a completely different thing.
I hope they don't. I want them to keep the portable home system thing going.
I think it'll still be a portable home system.
Super Nintendo Switch.
It'll
Perfect.
still be that hybrid, but they will do something else with it, so it's different.
Oh, it takes mini discs again.
Yes.
You've scored my next one wrong.
Have I?
I predicted that Breath of the Wild 2 launch date will be announced in holiday 2022.
Breath of the Wild 2 launch date announced. You were right. Yeah, correct. I got that wrong.
Hey.
I think you took it as it'll be announced for holiday 2022.
Yeah.
No, it was in holiday 2022.
No, you got
by
a full
the end of
point
the year,
there.
I said by the end of the year we were going to know a launch date.
Yep. No, I'll give you that point. Full point.
thank you.
Full point for Floppy. So you're on the
Yay,
board.
I'm on the board.
I'm going to have to redo all these
Look,
at the
Mum,
end.
I'm not a loser. Oh, wait. Yes, I am.
Anto, what was your third pick for round 3?
I feel like my ones are all just good business decisions that Nintendo don't want to make. I predicted that Metroid Samus Returns, the last 2D Metroid game before Dread, would get a remastering with the Dread engine for Switch at some point by the end of this year, and it didn't.
Didn't they do a remaster, though, the year before?
No, Samus Returns was a remake of Metroid 2 on the 3DS,
Yeah.
and then Dread came out.
Yep.
And my prediction was that they would bring Samus Returns to Switch.
Oh,
using
sorry,
Dread's
yes.
engine.
Right.
And
Good.
they haven't.
Yeah,
so.
correct. Oh, well, that's weird, isn't it? Considering that game goes for big money now.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, trapped on a dead system.
I got it.
Do you know that DS is up to like $500 now?
I saw someone selling just the special edition of the game, like the big cardboard box one with the stickers and all the extra stuff.
Yep.
On Marketplace yesterday for $600.
Yeah.
And that's what they were asking. I wonder what it sells for.
Well, I don't know. Depends how desperate people are. And old people like me who collect stuff have money now. Unlike me, who has no money. Because my game room flooded. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't happen while I'm sat here, hey.
Oh, well, you know, as
You'll
I said,
dry, mate. You'll dry.
everything in that corner is replaceable, so it's fine.
No, that's true. Braden's on standby.
Speaking of Braden, Braden's pick was Horizon will once again be completely overshadowed by the release of an open-world fantasy RPG releasing the week after it.
Was it a week later?
Yeah, it was. He freaking nailed it.
Elden Ring, baby.
When was Elden Ring released? And because we might get him on a technicality here. Anto, can you just do a quick search for Horizon and Elden Ring release dates?
Also, overshadowed, I guess, depends on your opinion of the game.
Because if Braden actually gets this, he wins. So
Oh.
we'll just do a quick typey type.
It's like a week later, isn't it?
18th of February for Horizon.
Yep.
25th for Elden Ring.
Oh my god!
Should you give him an extra point for being legitimately
For
exact?
dead on, he should get 2 points.
Bang on.
Yeah, right. I'll do that. Like,
Minus a point for the fact that it didn't actually overshadow it. Everyone just got caught up in the hype of a lesser game.
well, we'll talk about that a bit later on, I think. And my pick, I almost had it, but then I didn't. PSVR 2
Yeah.
will be released with Half-Life Alyx as a launch title, which is still rumored to be true.
But we've seen the list of launch titles, haven't we?
It's still rumored to be true.
Hey, look, no one's going to be able to afford
I
the thing
found
anyway.
a site that tells me it did, written by someone named Steve the VR guy.
Had it been announced that Half-Life Alyx was releasing as a launch title for PSVR 2, I would have given myself at least half a point because I didn't say it was releasing this year, even though technically it is predictions for 2022.
Oh, if you had said would release with Half-Life Alyx, you'd get a full point.
No, because it's 2022. I would have given myself half a
No,
point.
if you said PSVR 2 will release with Half-Life Alyx as a launch title, yeah,
That's
you
just
got
a
a full.
prediction.
That's
That's
a
not a
full
yearly
point.
time-constrained
But because
thing.
you wrote PSVR 2 released, meaning it had happened with Half-Life Alyx, you would have got half.
Anyway,
if it was gonna
point
do
of the matter is I don't get any points.
it. Did you get none?
I got 0. 0 for that.
Ouch.
All right, here we go. Floppy.
All right. PSVR 2 will not launch this year.
Bing, 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 bing. Correct.
That's where I learnt, finally, to not go specific.
I
Go
think
vague.
when we do our prediction show, first show back in January,
Yep.
I'm going to go as dumb
be like,
and as...
There'll be a game,
Yeah. Nintendo will release a thing this year and
it'll
people
make money.
will like it or not.
And you watch, there'll be a game that gets released that is just unanimously loved.
Of course.
And you'll lose a point.
Tears of the Kingdom. Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Anto.
I'm wondering if I can get away with a half point as a technicality on this one.
Oh, I doubt it, but anyway.
Because I predicted that Persona 5 would get another sequel / spin-off / release.
Which it did.
It got ported to new systems.
That's not a...
What was Persona 5 Strikers? When was that?
Strikers was last year.
Yeah.
But
This year's gone too
my
quick.
prediction was that Persona 5 would get another release of some kind.
No, it wasn't. That's not what you said here.
Sequel / spin-off.
Yeah. That's not either. That's a redoing of the same game.
Pointing at you.
Yeah, point all you want. You're wrong.
But either way, it just proves that Sega make good business decisions and re-release their stuff on new systems.
Well, they have to. They're running out of money.
No, they're not.
They're so poor.
Is them being so poor like they're not in the top 3 billion jillion companies of the world?
No, them's being poor because they live in a dumpster.
Oh.
That's where all their Sonic games are stored.
Speaking of dumpster, can I have the Saturn that you don't use?
No, it's out in the shed not doing anything.
Exactly.
It's not even in the games room.
Why would I put games...
You could just take it. You wouldn't notice.
I would notice.
Should
Anyway,
have gone vague
cardboard
into, I
cutout
should
of
have,
it.
Townsy. I should have.
Braden's pick, final pick, round 4, was Game of the War.
Game of the War.
Game of the war.
Game of the War.
Don't mention
Ragnarok
the war.
will subvert expectations massively. First third will feel like 2018. Then it will pull a massive change up. I don't think any about
Just
that was
more of the same.
correct. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what people have praised about it. I was listening to a podcast today with one of the writers, and one of the things people didn't praise was like when there's a puzzle, and before you even do the puzzle, Atreus goes, "Oh, well, why don't you try coming at that problem with a different angle and throw your axe at it?" And it's like, all right, well, I haven't even started looking at the problem yet. You just give me the answer and hints. He goes, "Yeah, I wrote that. People hate it. I feel bad." Anyway, that was wrong. No points for Braden. And lastly, my Hail Mary was Microsoft to purchase Sega. This was before we heard about Activision or Blizzard. Like, we heard rumblings that there was going to be a big purchase, and I thought, well, that might be it, because that would help Microsoft get into the Japanese market, finally. They would have a Japanese company. Also, before I looked into it and realized that there are really, really hard laws for a foreign company to buy a Japanese company.
Yeah.
So it'd be downright impossible.
I don't know why I knew that.
Big old 0 for me there. So we have to add these up now. So we've got...
I'm on 2.
Firstly, Floppy is on 2 points. Dipois.
Yep.
Anto is on 1.5. 1.5.
1.5.
Yep. Braden, I think, is on like 3 or 4.
I think we gave him an extra point, so he's got 3.
So it's 1 there. No. Yep, good podcasting, Ben. 2, 3. Yep, so Braden's on 3, and I'm on 1.5. So Braden is the winner.
Ooh. Are we going to get him a trophy?
No, because that costs money. And probably not for the only time this year, because I had a look at our Fantasy Critic before. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, our Fantasy Critic is basically like fantasy football, but you bid and try and get titles of games that will have a score above 70 points, an aggregate, an open critic. And those points are all tallied and put together in all the games that you've managed to choose and bid on. Gives you a final score, and then you find a winner. Now, the hosts have one, which is us three and Braden, and us and the Patreons have one. Mm-hmm. Now, the last time I looked at it, we'll go through this, I think, in the post show. The Patreon one is being absolutely obliterated by Triple Indie.
Yeah.
The only way
From like the beginning.
Yeah, because Triple Indie chose Elden Ring and it's got 95. So straight off the bat, he had 25 points higher than everyone else. And Triple Indie's he's really into JRPGs,
And knows all the niche ones.
Yeah, and he knows the ones that score really, really high. So Triple Indie did really well. The only way second place, who's me at the moment, can win is if my last remaining games,
Which are?
I think it was the
Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII.
Yep, and then another one that I can't remember. They both need to score 85 or higher.
Which you might get with Crisis Core.
Crisis Core will probably score at least 80, 85.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, Dragon
Age.
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest, sorry. Dragon Quest
Treasures.
Yeah, so if they can both score 85 and be like two of the best games this year, hey, if not, Triple Indie's won it.
I had a whole bunch of really good games. All got pushed to next year.
Yep.
I started in last place, and I'm going to end there too.
That's because you didn't finish.
Bid on anything, man.
Yeah, I didn't know how it worked.
Oh, well.
I literally made you get your phone out in the car one day, the one here, talked you through how to do it, and you did it once and was like, nah.
And then the host one has jumped around wildly. I was looking to three-peat it. I was looking to get 3 in a row.
I was in the lead for a long time.
You were, and then Braden and I had games released.
And I had games delayed.
Yeah.
And then I stopped looking at it.
I was up the top, and then same thing happened that happened last year. Braden and I were like literally 0.2 of a point within each other. Then a little game called Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out and did very poorly.
Never heard of
or
it.
below expectations. And then another game, Callisto Protocols, came out today and again did not meet expectations. So they were my two big Hail Marys. The only way I think I can win is if Need for Speed Underground, which is a pick that Braden has, does horribly, which I don't think it will. And again, Crisis Core is one of the best games ever made. Other than that, Braden might be winning.
It might be.
Well, Braden probably has one. He's probably taken my crown.
Yes.
Okay, so let's quickly go through the Patreon predictions. You want to take it off first there, Floppy?
Triple Indie says you still won't be able to buy a PS5 or a Series X. Bow.
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
They're readily available now for walk-ins.
Yeah, not really hard to get.
Yeah.
As long as you approach it in a different way that you have other consoles in the past.
Which is?
Call the store ahead of time and ask if they've got them.
Pre-order it before it gets there.
Yeah.
Or that.
Nintendvania said Earthbound to be released on Switch.
That would have been cool.
Nope.
Did it come to the online store?
Oh, I didn't take that into account.
Yeah,
Because it did. It came because I loaded it the other day.
Earthbound and its prequel came out on Switch Online.
See, I thought only the prequel came out, but no. Correct.
You know what? Nintendvania? You got it.
You got it. You get that? You get that. Game Boy Dad. You want to take Game Boy Dads?
Horizon Forbidden West wins Game of the Year. Breath of the Wild 2 delayed.
Well, we got half of that right.
He did get half of that right.
You never. Hey,
We
might
don't
get
know
the other one.
actually
You
yet.
never know. It might happen.
Let's be real, it's probably not going to
It's
be.
not going to happen.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, it's Take Two.
God of War was apparently a great game.
It was.
Sorry, God of War.
Oh, good one.
I can't claim that. Townsy said it in the chat.
Michael Towns, Game Boy Games, said
Game Boy
Fortnite / Rock Band mix, including new instrument controllers. Epic using that alongside the regular concert stuff, with musical artists, some groups like U2 or Metallica being the first lackluster one before some really cool shit starts. Again, less is more, Townsy. Less.
New Fortnite Rock Band mix.
Yep. Nailed it.
Done.
Not Metallica coming up and not being up to expectations.
Metallica wouldn't do it because it's unfair to them and they wouldn't be able to stop us streaming their music.
That's true. You want to do?
Fair cool.
You want to do the last pick there?
Dylan the Villain,
Mate, 2 picks.
Ooh.
Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 will not release this year. Half a point.
Overwatch 2 did release.
But Diablo 4...
Did not. So you got half a point. Unfortunately, the second part might take that half point away.
Beyond Good and Evil 2 will be scrapped.
No official announcement yet.
Wrong.
Oh?
Ubisoft touched on it yesterday and said they're still working on it.
Oh, okay. Well, it hasn't been scrapped, so sorry, Dylan. Gone.
So it definitely has had an official announcement. No, he's got like 33%.
Yeah.
You're on 0.33.
Anyway, let's have a look at the Game of the Year 2022 predictions.
Game of the Year 2022.
Okay,
Yes.
so to clarify, are we talking about Keeley's Game of the Year stuff?
No, so to clarify, what we're doing is I've taken the highest scoring games from Metacritic, and we'll just quickly touch base on all of them. Then we will talk about the game we would like to win Game of the Year, and then what we actually think will win Game of the Year. Okay, so I'll go through a list now, and we'll quickly touch on each of these games that have the highest Metacritic score. I've got the Metacritic scores here as well. So first up, obviously, releasing February 24th was Elden
25th.
Ring, which had a Metacritic score of 96.
It is quite high.
It is very high. Now, Anto, you were able to preview this for us. Xbox gave us a code.
I did.
Because we're cool.
Well, I think it's more they're generous than we're cool. But anyway, Anto, what did you think of
Some of
Elden
us are
Ring?
cool.
So, disclaimer, I did the game a disservice by playing it on an Xbox One. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed it enough that I went out a few days later and bought it on PS5.
Well, there you go. And?
And I went on to Platinum the game. And
Well.
enjoyed it to that degree. So, I think it's very deserving of the high rating it's gotten. Mm-hmm. Personally, I don't think it's Game of the Year material.
Wow, why not?
Because,
Didn't do anything new?
unlike Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, I've not had any desire to go back and touch it again.
Oh.
Whereas Dark Souls 1, I have started and played through at least 60 to 70% of the game again, maybe 6 or 7 times.
You are the type of person that does go back and replay games a lot.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that I don't try new games very often.
That's right, neither do I.
And I'm very comfortable sort of sticking in my niche, which is, JRPGs or action platformers or fighting games. So,
Floppy, what do you think of Elden Ring?
Didn't touch it, not my sort of thing, jam.
Yeah.
The judgments I have on it are based on quite a varied group of people that I know who have all played it. Some who thought it was the best things ever, some that thought it was just the same as every other game from those developers, and some that hated it.
I likewise haven't played it. I've been tempted to. But I've spoken to people who know the type of gamer that I am. Obviously, a boring one. And they have
Achievable ones. You like achievable games.
little
me,
goals,
like me.
little kiddie games. They have said that no, you probably won't enjoy this, Ben.
The biggest sort of, what is it called when you get the most, when everyone sort of has the same sort of thing?
consensus.
Thank you. Was that it was really good, but it didn't do anything new.
Yeah,
It was
it
more
did
of
the
the
good
same.
thing, more of the same, but well.
yeah, I think it's fair to say that the addition of it being sort of an open-ended adventure with an open world and the fact that you could travel on horseback, that's not really different enough, in my opinion, from the typical Dark Souls formula to make it sort of groundbreaking. And I think that's what people are treating it as, even though it kind of really isn't in hindsight.
All right, so the next highest scoring game coming out November 9 with a Metacritic score of 94% was God of War Ragnarok. Floppy, why isn't this Game of the Year?
Exactly the same reason as Elden Ring. More of the same.
Right. So you don't think the two highest rating games, critically acclaimed games, this is an aggregate, remember?
No, I think a lot of this becomes based on hype as well.
Right.
People build it up how good this game is in their head before it's ever come out. Same way that you might, there are people that will hate something before it's come out.
Anto, what do you think of Ragnarok?
I think it would be disingenuous to give an actual opinion, but from what I've seen of it, I believe it's, like Floppy said, it's God of War 2018, but prettier.
I would never ever say that it's not looking amazing or run well or anything like that. I just think it's more of the same.
Yeah, I don't want to...
I will put it out. Have not played it. I'm not going to play it. I don't care.
I don't want to give away any spoilers to anything, but I have read in reviews that there is a part in the middle which sort of drags a bit.
Is it from 5 minutes in to 5 minutes before the end?
See, people get on me for hating on things.
I don't do it very
But
often.
these two can come in and go, hey, here's a flamethrower. Eat it.
Yeah, but it's
To
the,
be
it's the
fair.
consistency with which you do it that becomes the issue.
Well, at least I am consistent. People know what to expect from me.
Every now and again, a little sprinkle on top.
Vile and Venom. Cult of Lamb is the next highest rating game, releasing August 11 and coming in with a Metacritic score of 86. Did you play this, Anto?
I haven't played it, but I have watched people play it. Floppy and I had a conversation about watching games in the car. I've seen enough of it that I would be interested in playing it when it's a little cheaper. I'm not super...
Is it on Game Pass?
It is on Game Pass, but I don't have an Xbox.
Ah, okay. That would be expensive then.
It's interesting to me enough that I
do.
will play it, but not right now.
I do have an Xbox.
Well,
And I was thinking, like, this sounds interesting, and out of all the people that I know that have played it, love it. It is a little on the niche side, I think. So therefore, if you're going to play it, you probably already predisposition to
Yep.
like it.
Yep.
But I've heard enough good things that it's made me want to check it out.
Yeah. I too would like to check it out, but in a similar boat to Anto. I also knew I had Pokemon coming out, so I didn't want to try anything. But
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of indie games, and I love seeing these indie games in the conversation. I don't think there's been as many indie games in the Game of the Year conversation ever.
I think
Yeah.
because what we're seeing is indie games being made to a higher standard so that they can run with these things.
Well, see, I sort of think we're seeing indie games being made by people who have grown up playing AAA games.
Yes.
So
And
they
that's what I mean.
understand them.
So they get made to a higher standard. I
Yeah,
don't mean higher
yeah.
standard to put down other indie games or anything like that. I mean they get made to
You've grown up with
quality-
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're familiar. You know what they should feel like.
To a quality that can stand up there with the hitters that have a whole lot more money behind them.
Yeah, I think for me the best example of indie games becoming more than indie games in the sort of general standard of the name, the biggest success story for me is Hollow Knight.
I was about to say freaking Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight captures everything about the Super Metroid and the later Symphony of the Night style Castlevania games, the Metroidvania genre, if you will. It captures it perfectly and adds in Dark Souls-esque elements of like hard as nails combat and platforming, and overall makes it such a satisfying sort of package that it still ranks as one of my better games of like 2016, 17.
And made by a crew who was once nobody enough to be on here.
Yeah, yeah. Just as it released, Ari and Matt, I think, came on the show. Ari, I've caught up with a couple of times, and make it a point not to ask about Silk Song or Hollow Knight because he gets it so much from everywhere else. Last time we caught up, it was at a friend's place and we played Street Fighter.
July 19th.
I was going to throw it over to you for this one.
July 19th. I'm going to throw it to Anto.
Oh, okay.
Why are you throwing it to me?
Keep it brief. July 19th. With a Metacritic score of 83 was Stray. It's because out of all of us, you've seen more of this played.
And
Yeah.
I have 4 cats.
And you have 4 cats.
So you know how realistic it could be.
Yes.
Stray, I don't think deserves Game of the Year,
Oh,
but it is a fantastic game
why isn't it Game of the Year?
because it's about 5 to 6 hours long.
So?
And if you're paying, $70 odd for a game that's 5 hours long, I don't think it should be put into
See?
the same kind of class as that.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up an analogy here, and this is my way of thinking. So with coffee, you can spend... No. This will make sense. We all know what a latte is, right? Oh, we all know what a long black is. We all know what an espresso is. I will pay...
To speed this along, I'm going to say yes, I know the differences.
I will pay $4 or $5, whatever it is, for an espresso, and I will pay $4 or $5 for a latte. Even though this one's bigger, I still enjoy it, if not more, the little one, because the essence is there, the experience is there.
But you have
You're
to
paying
like that, though.
exactly. But me personally, I don't think how large something. It's quality over quantity. I think if something is succinct enough and nails everything that you're looking for, it doesn't matter how long it is.
Actually, no, I'll give that because it's a personal choice
Yeah.
of whether you think it's worthy of Game of the Year. If you don't like that short, black, bitter shot from hell,
Yep.
and you would much rather a larger, slightly milkier, easily palatable one, that becomes the better choice for you.
Exactly.
That was my
Okay,
little shot at
so
black.
we're going to drag this out a little bit more.
Good.
The reason I'm saying I don't think it's worthy of Game of the Year because of the length is purely because we're chucking it up against games like Elden Ring, which can be anywhere from 60 to 200 hours.
Too long. Too long.
That's my only reasoning. Like, I'm not taking away from the fact that it's a wonderful game, and Coda and I upgraded to PlayStation Plus Premium to get it early, and then we bought the physical edition anyway. So we're invested.
I think it definitely deserves
don't
awards,
think-
but maybe not in that category.
Yeah.
Category.
It deserves something,
Get out.
just not best
Cat.
game of the year.
That's the door.
Category.
Door's right there. For
It's
you.
great.
You can go through
Joe.
it.
It was a great pun.
It wasn't. Anyway, we're all going to have different things. We're all going to
Yeah.
have different choices. Let's call a spade a spade. Spoiler. I don't think this is the game of the year for any of us, like our own personal choices. So
No.
we can argue until the cows come home.
Yeah.
It is a very subjective thing. Floppy, you've got the next one.
February 18th with a Metacritic score of 88. Not a score to be...
It's a good score.
It's a
Scoff
great
at.
score.
Good,
It's a
very
great
good score.
Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. I played a heck of a lot of this. It's probably the game I've sunk the most hours into this year.
Finish it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I finished it. And I finished it on probably high 80 percentage, which is something I rarely do.
Yes, I remember you saying, actually.
Yeah, I rarely do it. But it is one of those games that I think was made so well. It was polished. It was finished. The side quests were meaningful and enjoyable.
So, how many mugs
fun?
were in this one?
What?
How many mugs did you have to find in this game? In the first game, didn't you go looking for mugs? I'm trying to shill our merchandise, Floppy. Play along.
Sure. Well, I found at least 2, possibly 3 if Anto holds his up.
Oh, good. And where can you get one of these fantastic mugs?
Well, you can go to hackthedino.com, click
right.
on the little link tree, go to the merchandise.
Oh, I was talking about that espresso before, but
Yeah.
having drinks in one of these mugs, it just makes everything taste like sunshine and puppies.
And it makes you want to wash it by hand as well because you want to look after it and don't put it in a dishwasher.
Absolutely not.
Not
no.
dishwasher safe.
Well, no, you can, but then you just have to buy another one from hackthedino.com. Just click on the
One
merch
new
button.
mug every week.
There you go.
Horizon Forbidden West, one of my contenders for Game of the Year.
Cool.
With not just how good it looked, how well it played, but how well it was written and how much I enjoyed it.
Anto.
Haven't played it, disclaimer. But I watched Coda play it from start to finish with, I think, roughly a 93% completion rating over the course of about 90 to 100 hours. A lot of time put into
I'm
this
going
one.
to see if I can figure out how many hours I put into it.
I agree with what Floppy said as far as writing and plot is considered. Fantastic story, fantastic world building. It looks great. The combat is maybe what I'd like to get into. I don't know. They added some more stuff in this one, which makes it a little bit more maybe combo friendly, which is up my alley.
Oh, and the mounts that you can eventually
The
do.
mounts are cool. My only gripe with it, and this is maybe something that's only a gripe because I was an observer, Aloy tells you the solution to everything and talks too much. To herself.
I did not get that.
See, that's where, just on that point, having something like God of War, where you've got someone to talk to, makes it feel a lot more realistic.
That's
As
why
opposed to going, geez, I
mean,
wonder
there's-
if I can jump up
There's a
over
lot
there
of
with my whip.
moments in Horizon where you do have a companion for a fair chunk of stuff, but there's a lot of solo stuff with Aloy where and again, it could just be because I was an observer and taking everything in and didn't have a focus to look at. Get it? Focus.
Focus.
But
What a catastrophe
Dylan
this
has
is.
agreed with me. It just felt like Aloy wouldn't shut up. You'd walk into a room, there'd be a clear puzzle to solve, and she would immediately go, I should use my rope caster on that thing to pull that door down. And it's like, if you're playing a sequel to
Nobody
a game
talks
that
like
is as highly rated as the first one is, majority of your audience is going to know what to do kind of by the way game sort of feel and evolution has happened. And it's not necessary, but I get they want to sort of get the most for their money's worth for the voice actor, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to power through these next couple on. Speaking of voice actors, Bayonetta 3.
Haven't played it yet. Got the collector's edition at home. Waiting for a break in the games that I've got to be able to play it.
Cool. Did you play this one, Anto?
Won't play it because Hideki Kamiya is a xenophobic piece of garbage and I don't like the man.
Fair enough.
But scored an 88.
It did. God Scoring 83, coming out on January 28th, Pokemon Legends Arceus. This was a reinvention of the entire Pokemon genre. As we've spoken about previously, it is a little hub areas, which are open world just in those little areas. Cool little gameplay, built on the engines that we have known to come to love. It was just a fun time, instant replayability. The gameplay loop was fantastic. I still go back and play it every now and then when I want to catch those little shiny boys. Top game. Top game. And then speaking of top games, is another one of my top games because it is an absolute banger, and I cannot wait for my VHS physical edition to arrive sometime in the year 2083. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which scored 87 and came out on June 16. Multiplayer aside, single player aside, like not only did it sort of...
it was so
fun,
polished.
Just fun. Just felt like those old games.
I was right at the end, and Anto came over, and we finished it together.
And what it does is it scales how many people are playing. So if you've got 4 people playing, they will throw extra guys in.
Yes.
And they will up their difficulty in order to play it. This game was like... So it was based heavily off the arcade games and the Super Nintendo games and obviously the NES games as well, where you played through almost the entire history of those games and all their sequels. The opening levels felt very much like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade machine, the very first one. Then you went through Turtles in Time towards the end, where you went to the Triceracons and the Technodrome, and just an amazing game. Big, beautiful sprites, really friendly combat, I cannot get over how good this game is. And I even purchased the physical edition from Limited Run that comes in a VHS case and a Pizza Hut token.
Pretty keen to see that.
Yeah.
I bought it physically.
Cannot wait for it to arrive and to not open it up. It's going to be a good time.
I hate that so much. Someone that would actually open that might have been able to purchase
another indie game on the list, scoring 85 on Metacritic and releasing March 16th, was Tunic.
Totally went under my radar.
Anto?
Pretty sure this is the Fox one where it's Dark Souls Zelda.
Correct.
Yeah.
I haven't played it either. It's on Game Pass. You should give it a go. Everything I've heard is just as Anto said, Dark Souls Zelda. However, one of the best collectibles in any game is that you collect pages out of an old NES manual for the game. So as you collect these pages, you actually learn how to do moves. So those moves are there for you to use from the very start, but because there's no manual, you don't know they exist until you collect the page and go, oh, hang on, I can do a spin attack if I hold down B for 5 seconds.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool little gimmick. But again, very, very hard.
Right, July 29th, scoring 89. Was Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm assuming this means...
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
3, yes.
I did that out of order as well. Whoops.
Yep, that's right. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, I have this sitting at home. I've played through number 1 on Wii and Switch. I've played through number 2. And I have started the DLC for number 2. I can't remember if I finished it, but I haven't got onto this one yet. But if it follows the same sort of well-made, polished and finished vein as the originals, the first 2, this is going to be great. Triple Indie is going to probably know way more about it than I am.
Yep.
But they're always fun games. They always look real good. They always play real well.
Totally.
Yep.
And last of all, scoring an 83, releasing on April 5th, was Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Fun game. Just a cool...
So much fun. I've been playing it with my kids. We go back to it 2 and 4. They can't play the same game for a while.
Yep.
Young kids, we do other things as well. So I haven't finished it yet, but I've been playing through with them. And yeah, it's just well made. I like... They sort of took... the whole Civilization thing that Civilization does with every new game. It keeps 30% the same. It changes 30% and it adds 30% new. And they kind of did something like that. They kept a lot of the Lego-based stuff the same. They tweaked some and then they added some new things in there as well.
It's just a fun sandbox to play.
It's great. It's huge.
And it got to the
9
point,
films.
It's my first Lego game I've played since the Indiana Jones on the Wii.
Wow.
And I'd messaged Floppy and said, all right, what's the best way to go through this game? He just said, just burn through the story, get everything unlocked, then go back and discover.
Yeah.
And it was the best way to do it.
You just mainline it so that you can get to the end. Therefore, you've unlocked one of every character. Then go back and just have fun with all the levels. Don't try and get everything first go.
All right, so I'm speeding through here because we're quickly approaching running out of time, and we've still got a quiz to come at your face.
What's an extra 10 minutes?
Hey?
What's an extra 10 minutes?
Well, So my first runner-up.
That's what she said.
Well, not runner-up. So the game that I would like to see be Game of the Year. Now, I had a hard time deciding which one. So I'm going to need a little bit of a discussion, even from the live chat. Feel free to chip in. For me, personally, it is a toss-up between Shredder's Revenge or Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Okay.
Look, I don't think either of these games will get Game of the Year for reasons stated previously about other games. But for me, and seeing how this is our personal... Like, remember when River City Girls came out and I said, yep, that's my Game of the Year?
Yes.
Because I got the most fun and enjoyment out of it.
It was the most memorable experience for that year for you?
Exactly. It was just so much fun. Shredder's Revenge, I sat down and finished it in one sitting. Like, I just sat there and played the whole day. Did not
awesome.
do anything because I was just having so much fun with it. It was an instant dopamine hit. Nostalgia came in waves and drowned me. I've talked about it previously. Great game. Arceus was the Pokemon game I've always wanted to play before, obviously, Scarlet came out. But searching, exploring, finding these little creatures coming up and throwing my balls at their face and forcing them in there, and then throwing my balls at other ones where little animals come out and just spit basically at the other ones so they can get in my balls too. Just balls everywhere. And then the shiny balls. No, the balls weren't shiny. But
Remember how we talked earlier about fans of ours that have children?
I'm just telling you how to play Pokemon. You throw your balls, they land in their face, and they get in
but
the
they're going
ball.
to say this when they go to school.
That's all right.
It's not going to end well.
People will know. Anyway, what do we think? Out of those two, what should be my Game of the Year? Sound off in the chat if you have any ideas.
I think Pokemon should be yours.
Yeah, why not Ninja Turtles?
I think Ninja Turtles is a wonderful, fantastic flash in the pan, but Pokemon is something you'll go back to.
Oof. Oh, that's a good point.
See, I disagree. I think Arceus would eventually get boring, and Shredder's Revenge is the kind of game you could pop in and play over and over again for a 5 to 20 minute to 4 hour burst.
But will you, though?
I will say I've only returned to Shredder's Revenge a handful of times. I return to Arceus a lot. But
is that because
no, I
of
say
your
that,
predisposition for Pokemon, however?
Well, that's why I say that not like I personally would rather play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles than Pokemon, but I know Ben.
Honestly, for me, if there weren't shinies in Pokemon Arceus, wouldn't play it. I'd finish the game, I'd mainline it, done.
Boy loves his shinies.
I love my shinies.
Unlike Floppy, who was like, why is my
That's
Machop
why I have
green?
a bald head. Because I just love the shiny.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Not because of genetics.
Not bad genetics at all.
No.
Thanks, Mum.
I'm still up in the air. Maybe next show in the grand finale for the year I can decide.
Okay.
All right. What are you going to go with?
Mine? So I have 3 contenders for games that will be my personal game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3. And then you could probably guess 2 of them. Horizon Forbidden West.
Mm-hmm.
Gotham Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Sifu.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sifu.
Sifu.
Mm.
For a very specific
On the
reason.
Switch?
No. On the PlayStation 5. So Horizon Forbidden West was one of my favorite games this year. It's a franchise that I enjoy. I love. I loved the game when it came out in 2017. I love that world that it created. I love the story and what happened to the world and the lore behind it. I loved that gameplay loop that they had. Nothing felt like a fetch quest. And I was always really invested. Gotham Knights has come out, and I am enjoying it so much that I keep thinking about going back. Like, when can I get home and play Gotham? When can I get home and play more Gotham Knights? I love that as someone who likes to tick boxes and feel like I've achieved something, not relatively quickly, but I like to be able to tick boxes and I like to be able to knock off goals. I'm very goal-orientated. The fact that I can clear a map in an hour, in a little session, before I shut it down for a bit because I don't always get to game for long periods of time at every time. I feel like it's really well designed for me. It plays really well. It's not glitchy at all, which is kind of like we've gotten used to the fact that games are going to come out glitchy. Nah. I really like the story. I'm invested. I found the combat is great. Loving that. And then Sifu has come out as well. Now, Sifu was a very stylized, very niche style of game, but it did something I always think is quite often lacking in Game of the Years, which is being innovative. It's not always there. It's generally, I always find that Game of the Year generally goes to whatever got the best hype and whatever got the best marketing. it tends to always be one of those. Sifu introduced a style of combat and a difficulty rating that was I'd never seen before. Would you agree, Ben?
Sorry, well, I was just going through hackthedino.com and the 2020 Dino Awards. Man, it's close. Anyway, sorry, what we said.
Sifu. So the whole combat system where the difficulty rating is based on whether you die. And if you die, you come back a certain amount of time.
Yep.
But you age. But when you age, you are stronger.
You come back more powerful.
You're more stronger, but you've got less health. Mm-hmm. And it was a really interesting mechanic that they balanced perfectly.
Yeah. No,
like I thought, and I feel like that kind of innovation and that kind of new thinking, I think is perfectly suited for a game of the year.
I think it just comes down to game of the year. What does it mean to you?
Yeah.
For me, it's excellence in gaming. And for me, excellence in gaming is something that I think exceeds what I deem a good game to be, which is why I wanted to choose one of those two. It's where I've enjoyed most of my time.
Yeah.
However, game of the year for you might be, no, it pushes the boundaries and moves the medium forward.
That's right.
It could be, Anto could enjoy throwing balls at animals' faces. Like, you know, don't hold that against him.
My game of the year is hard because I really love all. I'm going to take out Gotham because I haven't finished it.
Right.
I've just made that decision right now.
Cool.
Like I was prepared to go with Gotham Knights.
Me personally, I think you should go for Horizon.
I'm going Sifu.
Oh!
I'm going Sifu purely
There's a
because
new
it
one.
dared to push boundaries and do things differently while getting a really nice stylized look that didn't have to rely on being the ultra realistic looking game, and I think it did it perfectly.
Wow.
My whole thought process on this has changed in the
Jeez,
last
that's
35 seconds.
real time. You can see that.
Everyone saw that happening.
What's the meme with all the numbers coming in and Floppy going, "Oh."
Yeah, did that.
All right,
Yeah,
Sifu.
just did that, Sifu.
Anto.
So, I may also go on a bit of a ramble here like both of you did, but I will try and keep it brief.
Is he justifying his ramble already?
That's all right. When I go like this, that's time to wrap it up.
So,
Very subtle.
I have 3 contenders.
And done.
No, I've got 3 contenders, one of which doesn't come out for another 11 days.
Come
How is
on.
that your game of the year?
Because it's a remake of a game that I adore.
But what if they muck it up?
I don't think they're going to.
Are you talking about Dead Space? No.
Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII.
Crisis Core Final Fantasy. I was going to say Dead Space
So-
is not out till January.
Final Fantasy VII, it's there in the title. That is my heart game. That makes me me. So the fact that that's coming out puts it in my potentials when I've played it. But I'm going to do Ben a favor and shut up about it now. So my 2 contenders are Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise and Sonic Frontiers.
Nice.
The reasons being, one of them is a fantastic single-player experience. The other is a fantastic multiplayer experience.
Now, okay, so here's the issue. When was that released? Not Sonic
2022.
Sonic, Final Fantasy?
Yeah. Stranger of Paradise came out in March.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I'll
It was
take
like
back what I say.
No, I was about to say mid-year, but maybe a little bit earlier.
Okay. I regret my
I
statement.
have
Regret?
spent more
Yeah, sure.
time with Stranger of Paradise, and it's hilariously good fun. But Sonic is a game I can play by myself because single-player Stranger of Paradise isn't great.
Look, I would say, just from my observations, and knowing what a fan you are of these 2 series, yeah, exactly. You're wearing a Sonic shirt now. Dude.
Yeah. Dude, it's all Sonic.
Looking in the Hack the Dino Discord, which you can join by heading over to hackthedino.com and clicking the Discord button. It's free. Come on in, jump in. We're all naked. You went off your banana with
dude.
Sonic. Like
Sonic-
giving live updates. Oh, I've already finished it 8 times.
It's not 8 times, but yeah. No, I wanted to throw a second contender in. That's probably my runner-up if I chose one. Sonic Frontiers will absolutely be Game of the Year. I feel like Crisis Core is coming out too late to get sort of considered.
And of course, Sonic Frontiers, you're getting free DLC.
Yeah, a lot of free DLC. But yeah, Sonic Frontiers pushed Sonic as a series and a genre forward. Admittedly, by being, you know, iterative and derivative of other open world games that have come out in the last few years. But personally, for me, it hit emotional beats and it hit the sort of gameplay itch that I've been looking for Sonic to have since Sonic Adventure 2, which was 2000.
Yep. And again,
So
Game of the Year means something different.
yeah,
So
it was perfect. The music, the voice acting, the gameplay, the level design, everything about Frontiers for me was perfect.
all right, very, very quickly before we go into Quiz on Your Face.
Yes.
Yes, mate.
Game of the Year, Floppy. This is the one we actually think will win.
Elden Ring.
Anto?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Like, without a doubt. I think everyone knew it was going to be that from the very start. So be sure to tune in next time we are here with stuff so you can find out which one Game of the Year. And don't bother about looking anywhere else. Just come to Hack the Dino.
This is the only official game of the year that you'll ever need.
This is actually the only official video game podcast.
It's true.
It's fact.
Next show, I will actually be able to talk about Crisis Core.
Oh, there you go. I'll put aside 4 hours. Okay, so it's time to play Quiz on Your Face. You're ready for quiz? You're ready for quiz? Okay, so I have 4 questions here with multiple choice answers. 2 from me, 2 from our beloved high-end Patreons, Dylan the Villain and Michael Towns, Game Boy Games.
Game Boy Games.
I will ask the question. I will read out the 4... you can't buzz in anymore. I finally made up my mind. I want to get all my jokes out. So...
Narcissistic much?
Very. The 4 gag... No, it's not 4 gag. Question, 4 multiple choice. Once I've finished, yell out your name. I'll go to you first. Scores. Was getting close. We had Ben S on 1, Trent on 2, Braden on 5, Mr. A-Game on 7, Jazz on 7, Anto on 31, and Floppy on 32. Oh, this could get very close. Coming up to end of season finale next time.
Damn.
Are we ready, gentle people?
Yes.
The very first question is from Dylan the Villain. Okay. As we know, Dylan accomplished his life goal by defeating both of you last show.
He's so happy. I saw him during the week. He was still so stoked about that.
Let's see if he can make it 2 for 2. What
For my sake, I hope not. Sorry.
What are the names of the 2 characters who are fighting in the intro of Street Fighter 2? Is it A, John and Steve, B, Scott and Max, C, Brandon and Jeff, or D, Mark and Ben?
Anto.
Floppy.
Oh, Anto got in. Anto?
Dylan's going to hate me.
Yeah.
I watched a video on the history of Street
Oh,
Fighter
no!
literally 2 days ago. It's Scott and Max.
It is Scott and Max. Oh, well done, Anto. That ties everything up at 32 apiece. Oh, boy. Okay. Question number 2. What was Game Freak's first game? Was it A, Pokemon Red, B, Quinty, C, Pokemon Green, or D, Digimon?
Floppy.
Floppy?
Quinty.
Yes! Did you know that?
No.
Holy crap!
It's the obvious
But it
answer. It's
seemed
what I was
like
gonna
the
guess.
obvious guess. Because I'm going to go with it's probs, not Pokemon. Don't think they did Digimon.
Wow.
Yeah, no. If it wasn't Pokemon, it had to be one of the other 2.
Yeah, and it wasn't going to be Digimon.
I should have.
Pokemon felt like a trap.
It was a trap. You know, you're getting to know me too well. This is not good.
It's been a number of years, mate.
Okay, here we go. Next one is from Michael Towns, Game Boy Games.
Alright.
I may have edited this.
So,
Of
normal.
course you did.
In Super Mario World, the Rhino enemy was named after which iconic industrial genre artist? Was it A, Burton C. Bell from Fear Factory?
Fucking Anto already knows. Look at him.
B, Raymond Watts from KMFDM? C, Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails? Or D, Steve Harwell, he's a rock star from the band Smash Mouth, sung to the tune of Smash
Floppy.
Mouth's Rockstar, please. No. Floppy?
Floppy. Trent Reznor.
Correct!
Damn it!
Did you know that one?
Yes, I already did. I was
think
just
everyone-
trying to take the piss out of Anto.
Oh, you were just
Yeah,
trying to give
I
him a
knew it.
false sense of security. Look at that psychological edge. You're sitting there going, oh, he knows it. He knows it. So Anto's going, oh, I've got this in the bag. And then Floppy going, ha! Got it.
I knew that because I'm a Nine Inch Nails fan, though.
Same.
All right. So what are we on? Let's have a look. Floppy's on 34. Anto's on 32. Anto, this is the last question. To make life easier for you next show, you need to get this right. No yelling out until I've finished.
I feel like taking that away has taken my advantage.
Here we go. The White House is seen as destroyed in Fallout 3 because A, the devs ran out of time and destroying it was easier. B, storyline reasons. C, budget cuts. Or D, it's a bug.
Anto.
Anto?
A? Destroyed because it was easier?
Yes! Oh.
Damn it.
So at the end of that, we have Anto on 33 and Floppy on 34.
Well done, son.
Do you know what's going to make next time really interesting?
What?
We'll have Brayden here.
Oh, damn it.
So there is going to be more pressure to get your name in there before you can answer a question. I might think of something a little bit special. We'll see how we go. So Floppy's on 34, Anto's on 33. It's going to be very, very close.
I think we can all agree Brayden ain't going to win.
I was
What do you mean?
hoping that I would be able to tie it up this show. And damn
That's
it,
why as soon as I got those two, I was
as
like,
soon as Ben was like, no shouting in rule, I was like, fuck, I'm screwed.
But we've been Hack the Dino. This has been our gaming cast where we bring you the past, present, and future of video games news, previews, and discussions. Do you have any idea how long it took me to get that byline down?
no.
We've been doing this for a better part of 5 years, and I think this has only come to me this year. I've been trying so hard to get something that was snazzy, but also got across what we were talking about. I don't know if it's worked. Let me know in the comments down below.
Isn't that the same thing you've said all the time?
No, I've only started it this year. Believe it or not, it was always a different variation of that.
Yeah, right. Didn't notice. Whoops.
Doesn't surprise me. But this isn't all we do. Floppy, what do you do, the voodoo that you do so well?
I jump over to Instagram at Floppy Plays Games and sometimes throw up some photos of some cool stuff I've picked up or played or whatnot. This is my collector's edition statue from Gotham Knights.
So for those of you who listen to the very poor choice in podcasts that we put up on the weeks that we had off, would have heard us unboxing this.
So good. So this is one of the best statues I've had out of a collector's edition. Also one of the priciest.
Yeah, that's not a cheap bundle, is it?
It's not, even when you get it discounted. But yeah, the quality of the statue is amazing. Vinyl and resin and amazing texture and cool poses and characters based on Jim Lee's artwork, which is my favorite comic book artist. So thank you.
Thanks, Jim Lee.
Thanks, Jim Lee.
From Floppy.
Yeah. No,
He's watching.
You done good. Oh, speaking of comic book artists, if you go back a picture, I can't remember if I put it on Instagram or not.
You did.
Yeah, I went to Supernova and Jeff Loeb signed my copy of Batman.
That's great.
608. He was such a lovely guy too. Like I just sat there and had a chat to him, and I was like, "Man, I just want to say thank you for writing one of the stories that I've enjoyed the most in comics." He was like, "Nah, man, thank you for reading the damn shit."
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have a gig if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, but he was like quite like just like he was very humble and very lovely. We had a little chat.
How was the line?
I got there at a time when the line was quite manageable. Like, there was probably about 5 people in front of me. By the time I got to the desk, there was probably 8 people behind me.
No, that's all right.
But it was on that really stormy day.
Yeah, where it blacks out.
Yeah, so and we were.
That's the same day that my games room got flooded.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was awesome.
My best convention story with a creator.
Drawn by Jim Lee.
Yeah. My best. In fact, I'm going to get it. Hang on.
Oh, this is my copy of Turok. Of which I have most of the box, the manual and the cartridge. I one day will try and get the whole box, but yeah, I just love the Turok series. I'm like, just dinosaurs are cool, man.
So I may have talked about this on the show before, but many years ago, when we were as part of the wrestling that I'm a part of, we were performing at one of the cons because I have wrestling there. And this one was Armageddon. It only came to Australia once, and one of their guests was Dan Slott, who you may know as the writer of Spider-Man for 10 years. Exceptionally good writer. I really love and appreciate his writing and all his work. He's one of my literary heroes.
Yes.
Anyway, I went up to them and I said hello and just started talking. I had in my hands the very first issue of Spider-Man that he wrote, and it was
cool.
Because it was the first issue he did. He came out with a blank cover, so just completely white, the title, and then completely blank. So I took that up with him and I just said on a whim, "Oh, look, I know you're a writer and you don't draw, but because there was no one around, I just said, any chance you could just
scribble
a Spidey on there or something?" He goes, "I'll do one better."
I can't see it.
And you drew Spider Pig on there for me.
Hey.
can't see.
There you go. Can't see. It's hanging up on my wall in my games room.
No, I've seen. I didn't know what you were showing. I can't see it on there because I got.
So yeah, it's just Spider Pig there going. These aren't spider
that
lines.
is
I
cool.
stink, and it's signed by Dan Slott. So
That's
that is,
so good.
That's one of my favourite things that I have in my room. Anyway,
You
Anto,
should
what
take
do
it
you
out
do?
so we can read it.
I do stuff on Instagram every now and again. I haven't in a long while.
Do you have a,
It's
do
been.
you
I
have
think
a
when did
big
this go
W
up?
price tag on there?
When did I put this up? This was 5 weeks ago.
Wow.
Not to get too real and bring my mood down, but I've been dealing with some mental stuff the last couple of months, and I haven't really had the desire or drive to do anything outside of this.
Fair cool.
But let me 2 seconds. I'm just going to Discord some stuff.
Oh,
Anyone who may remember our excursion to the Toy Fair back in October
Yes.
will remember that I
Ooh,
bought
I know where you're going.
some figurines. Some Final Fantasy VII Advent Children figurines, which were very hard to find, and I got them for very cheap because one of them was broken, and I think the other person didn't know what they were selling.
it's well established they didn't know what they were selling. That's the same person I helped price all his Super Nintendo and video games because he was going to
That's right.
sell an $800 game for $50.
I think I may have pointed these out to Floppy when he was at my place a few days ago.
Yeah, I've seen him.
I found 2 figurines from the same set as what I got from a Toy Fair, boxed, unopened, for $25 for both.
Holy smokes! Where did you find that?
Facebook Marketplace.
Wow! Well done.
I'm gonna, just very quickly,
Yep.
open up the assets page.
Okay.
Assets.
Pow! So that's Aerith. That's the one I got from a Toy Fair
mate,
for
Aerith.
like $10. Cloud, same set. Again, I think $10, $15. Really not too expensive. One of the Shadow Beasts from Advent Children. I didn't get Red 13. Someone had already bought that one, Afronix. I got Bahamut's Sin, which is the big beastie that Cloud fights in the movie. And these are the boxed Reno and Yuffie figurines that I got, which I
Reno
took
and Yuffie.
pictures of hastily before I left today.
So how much are they worth to your knowledge?
When I looked them up after I got them home, Yuffie's harder to find for some reason. She was going for anywhere from 80 to 160. And Reno was going for about 80 to 130, 140.
I
Very
like
nice.
Reno. Having just played through Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, I have a soft spot for Reno.
No, I'm a big fan of him. Like the way he throws fireballs and does those uppercuts.
Are you
Like,
talking about Ryu?
yeah,
Reno.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, the state.
Sweet. Reno, 911.
Anyway, that's a good pickup.
But yeah, that's
Well
what I do. I found those. I haven't put them on Instagram because I'm lazy. And again, aforementioned stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I also buy stuff. I've bought some stuff, not a whole heap of stuff lately.
You bought a
but
lot of comics.
I did. I had the opportunity to get the first Secret War, which is, of course, the very first appearance of Spider-Man's black costume.
Because now, I read it a long time ago.
Yep.
His costume got destroyed, and he got that from a machine in the Secret Wars on an alien planet, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And he thought it was just a costume. Turns
he
out,
thought he could mind control it.
Yeah.
Which you kind of can, but because it's an actual whole alien.
yep, correct. Anyway, so that comic's worth about $300. And I got that amongst many other ones, including the the first cameo appearance of Venom and the second appearance of Venom. Both of those comics go for about $150 each. And the entire Secret Wars run, and some other ones as well.
I had a bunch of those comics as a kid.
Did you?
Yeah.
I need to find number 12. Number 12 wasn't included, but I got all the other ones. What else have I got there? Anything of interest?
You've picked up some great stuff the last few weeks.
Really? What else have I got there?
The Logitech keyboard for Wii?
Oh, that's right. I got that for $5.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was $5. I already had a Japanese one, which I got for $5 without it.
Didn't you see that at some point in the last few years? Last year or so, and hang a bit of shit on it thinking it was a repo or something?
No, so that was the Japanese one I got, because it was called Logicool, but it was friend of the show, Verity. He said, no, Logitech is called Logicool over in Japan.
That's
So it
right.
wasn't
That's
weird.
why I know. That's why it's
This is an
ringing a
actual
bell.
Australian one. It's still got the JB Hi-Fi sticker on it. It's Wii branded. It's a Wii controller. I really want the GameCube one, but that's really, really cool. It's a cool
It's
little peripheral.
really insane to me that you spent $5 on this, and
Yeah.
the JB Hi-Fi sticker had it retailing for $90.
And then, if you go to the next picture, I picked up these cool little pens for like $1 each. There's a Wii pen and there's a DS, and the DS pen is actually really big. It's like this big.
It does look massive.
It's a massive pen. It's a good time.
But these are like stuff that's given out by reps and shit, yeah?
Yeah,
That
and I
was-
just bought them for like $1.
This one was to promote the DSi XL, which also came with a giant stylus, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I think I also got River City Girls CD.
That's cool.
That was the soundtrack that came with the limited run game. And I also got a DS, I think. Yeah, that was... so
What?
I was messaging Game Boy Dad, friend of the show, and he goes, oh, what did you get? And it was the DS, it was that CD, and it was the pens and the keyboard. And I said, oh, I paid $47 for all this. And he goes,
What?
the DS says $50 alone. I said, you got to know how to haggle, my friend. I don't think there's anything else on there that I got recently. If you scroll down a bit, Anto. No, it's just random. This was a pickup. Now, I did pay a lot of money, but can anyone guess why I got this game?
I mean, I know why, but I can also see it on screen.
Yeah.
It's because it came with Pac-Man Versus.
Correct. Didn't even realize Pac-Man Versus was released in PAL. But if you click over to the
So
next
it came
image,
with a bonus disc in it?
a bonus disc in it. There it is there. I opened it up. It has the instruction manual and it has that disc. Amazing. If you've never played Pac-Man Versus, it's a GameCube game where you plug in either 4 controllers or 4 Game Boy Advances.
Oh, and do some people play the Ghosts?
Yeah, so 3 people play Ghosts
Yeah.
and you play Pac-Man. And it's like split 4 screen and you go around trying to capture him. Really cool game, really fun game. So I got that for... I mean,
What
I
a
paid
weird
for it.
game for it to get bundled in with.
Yeah, it's just a Namco game. So they just bundle it all up.
Strange.
And I think that's about it. I think we should go head on over to Bad Game Arts, mate. Oh, yeah, I've got that, baby. And I've got the sequel coming as well. Bad Game Arts, which is where I look at all the bad game art from all the bad video game magazines. And,
Fat worm blows a spark.
yeah, those lucky electricians.
No comment.
Just all the bad game art from bad game covers, bad game magazines. Anywhere you find bad game art from the early 90s and 2000s, I find it for you. You click over again for us there, Anto, and we've got whatever this is. It looks like a tarot card. Good old, Pie Mania. So whatever that is. Was it an adventure quest?
That's 3.14
whatever.
something or other.
And next one we got there, we have, Mega Man, what's that, Mega Man 4?
Mega Man 4 indeed.
So what's he doing to his dog there?
He's Mega Man forcing himself onto Rush.
He's showing you his Mega Man 4 skin.
And old mate behind him is about to turn it into a road train.
So, because he's a robot, he's very good at being a double adapter.
Male and female ports.
Hey,
Oh dear.
Going across to the next one.
do you reckon they'll port it?
They'll do. Oh, Robotron. This was the most uninventive cover of a game I've ever seen. Robotron. 2084. Just a robot. Nice abs. Weird hand. Strange face.
Strange lack of any kind of
If you saw
graphics.
that on the shelf, would you go, oh yeah, that's a game I want to play? The whole
No.
idea of having like these really cool video game cases is to get people to
That
play
looks
it.
like the cover of an old operating system.
Michael Towns in the chat has just said the artist drew a huge robo dong and they had to cover it. And
Look at
I
this
think
thing
there's-
behind me on the green screen. It makes me look at my shadow.
and lastly, I think, Anto, if we go over the last one. Oh, yes. This is why you should never have your game characters not have pants on.
This is why
'Cause
your games room got flooded.
That's
Is that
yeah, that's
Toe Jam?
not a toe jam. I'm looking at the big front area.
Oh yeah, that's a vagina.
Electronic Arts! Oh my gosh!
So head on over to Bad Game Arts on
Oh, can I
Instagram.
also, it's also done by Bullfrog.
Bad Game Arts on Instagram, where
We've,
all the bad.
we've missed this goal.
Oh, Willow. Yeah, who could forget that?
I love Willow.
Willow's a great movie.
You gonna see the sequel?
Have you ever read the book?
No.
Yep.
I've watched the first 2 episodes of the miniseries. It's great.
Do they look like that?
A little bit.
Anyway, Bad Game Arts on Instagram. You can, of course, head on over to hackthedino.com and find all of our contact and Instagram details there. Or, while you're there, you can simply click on the Game of the Year awards right up the top there and fill out. It takes a minute minute and a half to fill out all your choices for Game of the Year. We will be going into that next episode. So that is the 16th of December. You have until to go to hackthedino.com, press the Vote Now button on the 2022 Video Game Awards. This will pop up, and you simply have to click your option that you think is the most game with the most graphics, Game of the Year, Best Dino Host. Put in whatever you like. It's all a fun time. Everything is very, very close at the moment, so if you could all go and do that now so we can have a clear, defined winner. Otherwise, I'll just make it up on the night. While you're there, please subscribe, share, tell friends, do all the stuff that you're supposed to do, and we will be your best friends. And part of best friends, they do this for everyone. Floppy, what do best friends do?
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Not my answer. For your best friends, you do a little dance. You make a little love. You pretty much get down tonight.
No, we should have stopped it at you deep throating.
You support us on Patreon is what you do.
Oh, that too.
Dear Patreon people, we keep
Please.
forgetting about you. I'm sorry, but thank you. Here's a list of people who we like. Floppy?
You've got the list because my thing's gone dead.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so thank you to Ash Knight, thank you to Karen Knight, thank you to Dylan the Villain, Triple Indy, Mike Townsend, Game Boy Dad.
Game Boy
And
Dad.
if you would like to have your name forgotten after you give us grotesque amounts of money,
Amounts of cash.
that helps us buy cords that have got damaged in a flood, head on over to hackthedino.com, click the Patreon button, and you too can support us, and I can get taxed out of my wazoo. Good times for all.
Seen his wazoo, and there's a lot of tax coming out of it.
It's like that green guy with the